Alrighty, SY Sports back with another college football video. Today I'll be breaking down the Big 12 schedule ratings. I'll be going through the toughest to the weakest schedules throughout the Big 12. Now with the Big 12, the average schedule rating is going to be a lot higher than the other Power 5 conferences because everybody plays each other. So let's get into it. Number 1, I have West Virginia coming in at a rating of 28.39. Noticeable games for West Virginia. They go to Pitt, to Virginia Tech, to Texas. They get Baylor at home. They do go to Texas Tech. They get TCU at home. They go to Iowa State. They get Oklahoma at home, Kansas State at home, and at Oklahoma State. At number 2, I have Kansas coming in at a rating of 28.26. So with Kansas being at number 2, that means they have the second toughest schedule in the Big 12 according to my ratings. Noticeable key games. I won't list the whole schedule. Well, I'll try not to. But it's Kansas, so mostly all their games are noticeable. So Kansas goes to West Virginia. They go to Houston. They get Duke at home. TCU at home. At Oklahoma. At Baylor. Oklahoma State at home. At Texas Tech. And at Kansas State. Coming in at number 3, I have Texas Tech at a rating of 27.95. Texas Tech gets Houston at home, at NC State, Texas at home, at Kansas State. They go to Oklahoma State, Baylor at home, at TCU, Kansas, at Iowa State, and Oklahoma. You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to start just saying the whole schedule because that way it kind of shows their weaker opponents and their tougher opponents. Coming in number 4, I have TCU with a rating of 27.68. They go to Colorado. They get something called Tarleton State at home. They go to SMU, one of the better group of 5 schools. They get Oklahoma at home. They go to Kansas, who's going to be more improved this year. They get Oklahoma State and Kansas State at home. They go to West Virginia, Texas Tech at home. Then they go to Texas, to Baylor back-to-back, and they finish the season at home against Iowa State. Coming in at number 5, I have Texas at a rating of 25.95, so a little bit of a drop-off. I've noticed schedules of 27 points or higher tend to be harder, and schedules below 25 tend to be easier. Texas, 25.95. They get ULM at home, Alabama at home, tough game, obviously. Get UTSA at home, one of the better group of 5 schools. They go to Texas Tech, West Virginia at home, Oklahoma at home, Iowa State at home, at Oklahoma State, at Kansas State, TCU at home. They go to Kansas, and then Baylor at home. Coming in at number 6 is Kansas State at a rating of 25.83. They get South Dakota at home, Missouri at home, coming from the SEC, Tulane at home, at Oklahoma, Texas Tech at home, at Iowa State, at TCU, Oklahoma State at home, Texas at home. That's a tough stretch. At TCU, Oklahoma State, Texas, and then go to Baylor right after that, to West Virginia and Kansas. So the back end of their schedule is pretty rough with at TCU, Oklahoma State, Texas, at Baylor, at West Virginia, 5 straight games in a row. Coming in at number 7 is Iowa State at a rating of 25.64. They get Southeastern Missouri at home, wherever they are. They go to Iowa in their rivalry game. They get Ohio from the MAC at home. They get Baylor at home. Then they go to Kansas, Kansas State. Sorry, I'm going to move my paper real quick. Kansas State at home. Then they go to Texas and then Oklahoma. So at Texas, Oklahoma back-to-back. West Virginia at home, at Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and then at TCU to end the season. Coming in at number 8, Baylor, the rating of 25.47. See, these numbers are very close, especially like here in the middle of the Big 12. Baylor gets UAlbany, or University of Albany, I'm assuming, at home. Then they go to BYU week 2, tough road game. Texas State at home, at Iowa State, Oklahoma State, at West Virginia. You get Kansas at home. Then you go back-to-back of Texas Tech and Oklahoma on the road. Kansas State at home, TCU at home, and Texas on the road. So you get Oklahoma, You get Oklahoma, Texas, and BYU on the road. Coming at number 9, Oklahoma. The rating of 25.37. They get UTEP and Kent State to start the season at home. Then they go on the road to Nebraska. Big game, supposedly. You get Kansas State at home, so you don't have to worry about losing to Manhattan. You go to TCU. You get Texas at the neutral site. You get Kansas at home. You go to Iowa State, one of the tougher environments. You get Baylor at home. You go to West Virginia, one of the weaker teams I have in my talent ratings. You go to Oklahoma State, and then end the season at Texas Tech. So nothing too scary for Oklahoma, road game wise. I would say at Nebraska, at TCU, and then you could say Iowa State, but Iowa State's not. I'm not very high on Iowa State coming into the season. Coming in with the easiest schedule at number 10 is Oklahoma State at a rating of 24.97. So just below the 25 threshold, but close enough to where it's like in the middle of most schedules throughout the country. Or Power 5. This is Power 5. So Oklahoma State schedule, you get Central Michigan at home, which they lost to, I think, was that 2 years ago, or was that last year? I can't really remember. But they did lose in a weird way to Central Michigan. They get Arizona State at home, which I'm not very high on Arizona State this year. You get UAPB at home, whoever that is. So the first 3 games should all be winnable games. You go to Baylor on the road. Little revenge factor maybe from the Big 12 championship, but it's on the road. Texas Tech's at home. You go to TCU. You have Texas at home. You go to Kansas State and to Kansas back-to-back. 2 of the weaker teams in the Big 12. You get Iowa State at home. You have to go on the road to Oklahoma, and then you get West Virginia at home. So nothing too significant, really, road game-wise, other than at Oklahoma and maybe at Baylor or at TCU. So this is my Big 12 schedule ratings heading into the season. It's kind of nice to see who's going to have a tougher time and who's going to have an easier time, and kind of combining that with the talent ratings heading into the season for betting purposes, mostly for season win total purposes. This does help me with my game-by-game predictions as well later on, but that'll be later on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment down below, share, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. See ya.